So I wasn't gonna do this project until a little later because I had a bunch of other bigger projects in mind, but I gotta do this before she dies. Just look at her. Gotta push up what we don't have. Okay. This intro might be a little more chaotic than usual just due to how aggressively excited I am about the project that we are going to be working on this week. I've already rewatched the entire movie just so I could bask in the whimsy that Jim Henson brought to us back in the day, along with the eye-opening experience at the age of 7. That was David Bowie and his friend. Look, I know I am not the only one, so if you start talking shit, and with the endless amount of inspiration from that film, I wanted to jump on the puppet bandwagon that everybody seems to be on right now. I need more little guys in my life, okay? I've only made the one. He sits on my shoulder wherever I go, and while I'm crafting, but it's not enough. I need more. I need an army. I also happen to own an extremely fluffy dog, so you know what that means, folks. Yeah, you do. You know who we be crafting. Sir Didymus! I shall fight you to the death! Before you say anything, no. I did not choose this project based solely on the fact that Riley kind of looks like Ambrosius, and I can do an extremely well done impersonation of Sir Didymus. As per usual, I don't exactly have a set plan for this. You could call it my creative process. I don't know why my mind works like this. I don't know whether or not it's being an artist or it's from the brain damage.
The replay's playing.
So before we get into the actual materials and everything, I'm just gonna let you know I cheated a little. We're already gonna be making a puppet. I'm not gonna spend time embroidering. So I ordered a Sir Didymus costume for dogs, and it's terrible. I don't even know if it'll fit Riley. I need to, hold on, I gotta get her. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're good. Good dog. It's not even on right. They didn't even put it on in like the middle. What is that? Ugh, 5 seconds into the video and we're breaking stuff. Yeah. For the design, I'm thinking I need to make sure that the puppet actually fits Riley. I don't really want him to be the size of the puppet from the movie. Otherwise he'll be like to here and Riley is currently like here. So we're not gonna do that. So from butt to leg. This is the length of his legs. We're gonna go with that. Thank you, Riley. Butt to legs. Okay, so I can't currently find Riley. You remember what Otis was to me? How he would just leave his family and come visit me all the time? That's not my dog. Right, whatever. That's what Riley is to other people. So she's currently gone away on vacation at someone else's house. I don't know where. She comes back from time to time. But I'm gonna hope this fits her. After cutting out a template of Sir Didymus, I measured the joints for each arm and leg, along with his hips and shoulders. I wanted to make sure that everything was even as I started to lay down the armature. I was also having way too much fun with this. Alrighty, so I added wire to the joints. I tightened them a little bit more around the wrist and the hand. That way I can still bend it and it moves a little bit, but he'll be easier to pose. But for the rest of the joints, I pretty much made everything like as loose as possible, so he just... So now we're going to make the head. To make the head, I took a piece of floral wire and stuck it between a ball of tinfoil. I kept comparing this little ball to the drawing so that I could be sure his proportions were correct. We're going to be adding a lot of fur to him later on, which means he's going to get a lot bigger. Alrighty, next step in creating the body of Sir Didymus is giving him some cake. Okay, I think I figured out how to do this. I'm going to create the cheek, and we're going to tape it to the leg and make it go above and behind the hip. And I'm hoping once I add all the fur and everything to this, it'll still move. Because right now he is, he's very loose. Ah! My silly little brain thought that I was going to be needle felting this guy. Whoever gave me that idea, I don't know who you are, but you need to get out of my head and stop telling me to do stupid shit. So instead, I decided to take clumps of wool and Mod Podge that bitch. This is not the weirdest thing my friends have walked in on. Okie dokie, now that our sun is hanging to dry, I think I'm gonna call it for today. See you in day 2. Started my morning off right with a nice cup of energizing life juice, then realized the Mod Podge made the wool harden around all of the joints. When I think I've got my together and I have a plan for something and I've thought ahead, sad reality, I'm still me. My first plan was to needle felt my son, but that didn't work out, so I did this instead. I also tried hot glue at first, then switched right back to Mod Podge. The hot glue was just so lumpy. Again, I was getting way more from this project than I thought I would. It's so dumb. This is so stupid. He's just a little guy.
Engage clay muscles!
Oh, he's so soft. Oh, and if you put him by the fire, it's so nice. So I tell everyone that I meet that I think they should box, because I think they should. I think everyone should learn how to box. But in reality, I think everyone should just put their all into defense. And I will tell you why. Story time! One morning, I went to get myself a glass of water, and wouldn't you know it, due to the god-awful organization in this cabin, the water was just way too close to the dog's food. I set down my thermos, reached my hand into the dog food bag, and grabbed the cup inside of it. I also didn't immediately realize that I was filling that cup with dog food for about 30 seconds. And within that 30 seconds, I took that cup and in a haze went to pour it into my thermos. I finally became aware of what I was doing just as the first morsel rolled into my thermos. The moral of this story is head movement. Now to give the head some shape. God, I hate hot glue. Anyway, I kept layering on tinfoil and really brought him to life with some polymer clay. And like the witch in Hansel and Gretel, I bring my boy to the oven. While he's baking, I whipped up some ears out of floral wire that I'll later cover in wool and Mod Podge. He's done baking, which means we get to cut him like an avocado. I'm going to link the tutorial videos I used for this project in the description, so if you get a chance to watch them, you'll notice that I tend to screw up so often that I pretty much use those videos as more of a suggestion as to what I should be doing rather than the professional way of doing it. Well, I'm not making him again. Next time, folks, just make the polymer clay thicker. It would have worked. I kept following the tutorial as closely as possible with poking a hole through the top of the head for the string that would pull the eye mechanism up and down. I also added magnets to the head so that the back piece would snap right on, but that ended up not working out either. Now, instead of taking the time to explain why I do the things that I do to correct my mistakes, I'm just going to show you guys a few drawings and hopefully they make sense to you. The correct way to fix the clay eyeballs to your son's head would be to add 3 tiny rods. 1 in the middle and 2 on the sides. We're looking good, right? Wrong! I forgot Sir Didymus only has 1 eye, which was actually a gift from the gods because I was struggling for a whole ass day to try to get both eyes to blink. Now that we have removed the rod on the eye patch side of his head, it works a little something like this. On the inside, you can see the little metal beads superglued to a 4th rod in the back of the eye. These beads are also connected to the string we poked through the top of his head earlier. I added some clay on top of the center rod and voila! We have a functional blinking eye. I decided to just leave the back of his head open so that I could mess with the eye mechanism down the road. I figured if I covered his head with fur, you wouldn't be able to tell anyway. My YouTube videos take me far longer than I would like them to. I'm hoping that one day I'll be a bit faster when I'm settled into my new home, but for now, I just wanted to show you guys that I do plan ahead. Here you can see me working on a little something something that's for an upcoming reveal in the YouTube video after this one. Can you guys guess what it is? Okay, back to the current project. Same time, same place. Am I right? Today, we're gonna be finishing up the head.
I want you, baby, my sugar boo. I'm levitating the Milky Way. We're renegading, yeah. I got you, moon.
Okay, we got him hanging. The tail will have to dry. I can't really mess with it. And his head is cooking on the fire. Now we get to accessorizing. I know in the past I promised that when it came to little guys or intricate pieces, I wouldn't use anything besides polymer clay. I really should have stuck to my guns on this one. This air dry clay was nice to mold, but you'll see later on that the saddle, for example, started cracking like crazy. Since you won't end up seeing much of this piece with Didymus's tushy hiding it, and given the fact that this video was taking me 1,000 times longer than I would have liked, I decided to not go too crazy with the details. After I finished sculpting his little mittens, I moved on to his hat. I'm using the same materials I've used for just about everything in this project: floral wire, tinfoil, hot glue, and blue velvet fabric.
You want me, I want you, baby, my sugar boo. I'm levitating the Milky Way. We're renegading, yeah. I got you, moonlight, you're my starlight. I need you all night.
During the the evening, Riley decided to bless me with her presents, which I had to take advantage of pretty quickly due to the fact she was ready to leave again after about 5 minutes of being back inside. She's such a jerk. We are so close to being done! Up next for our little Sir Didymus is his shirt, the sleeves, gloves. We have his sleeves fabric. I would, if I was a super duper professional, sew all of this with a sewing machine, but alas, laziness triumphs over professionalism in my house. So we are either going to be hand sewing this or gluing whatever we can. Okay, he's not gonna be moving around in this thing unless he's gonna pull a night at the museum on me, which, to be honest, I would be very happy if he came to life and was actually Sir Didymus. I guess for a lot of people, they'd probably just freak out. I bet I would freak out too. Have you ever thought about that, where people discover magic in movies and they're not phased at all? You would like to think that you wouldn't be phased by all the magic because you've just been like
Ready for it?
reading all the fantasy books, hoping that the world has magic in it. So you're just like, yeah, totally, dude. Yeah, I get this. Let's do this. I've been waiting for years. But the characters in those movies are never portrayed as nerds. It's always just a normal person, but they're like, yes, magic. No big deal. This is fine. I can cope with this. Moving on. We finally get to dress Didymus. I grabbed some red velvet fabric, traced his body, and cut out the shape. Getting the shirt base over his headless corpse took a hot minute. I cut out the lower edges of his vest and began constructing the trim. Now, there are a few key design changes in my make of Sir Didymus because I got tired, and the trim refused to work with me on any of this. I also messed up the length of the sleeves and didn't bother recutting anything, so I changed the sleeve shape to a double puff sleeve. Don't come for me, okay? Even with all of my mistakes, I was quite smitten with my little man, although I don't recommend giving him any hand kisses until you've trimmed all of the loose threading. Speaking of trim, I was 100% done with this project once I had to pull out my stupid sewing machine because cutting it all in half only left the edges even more frayed. To make his gloves, I just focused on making the parts of them that are wrapped around his wrists. I knew I would be able to just paint his hands green, and though I actually forgot about this bit, when I was making his accessories, there are these little pieces of armor on the tops of his hands, which I made out of epoxy sculpt. Here, I am poking a hole through the bottom portion of his head so that I can stick a wire through it and connect it to his neck hoop. After giving him a bit of a haircut, I started to glue on all of the accessories I made, poked holes through his legs and feet for the marionette strings, and I got down with the thickness. And I added an additional detail that I forgot all about, his vest collar. It was at this moment I began to get progressively more and more cozy. I made his little buttons out of epoxy sculpt, filled the cracks in the saddle with hot glue, and got to painting. He was really starting to look so cute. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. More illustrative instructions because I had a really hard time explaining what I'm doing in this segment. This is essentially a summary of the 2 YouTube videos I will be linking in the description. Feel free to pause the video and take screenshots. So, here it goes. Awesome! And with that, Sir Didymus is finally ready for the reveal. But you know who isn't ready? Thy noble steed, of course. O'Reilly. Before we get to what I've been anticipating for weeks and weeks now, we must tackle the most important part of Riley's morning routine. And no, I'm not talking about bathing her, although that is required quite often, seeing as woodland carrion is her favorite thing to crawl into. No, I'm talking about her sustenance.
What's your rush? What's your hurry? You gave me such a fright, I thought you was the ghost of a minute. Can't you sit? Sit you down, sit! All I meant is that I haven't seen a customer for weeks. Did you come in for a pie, sir? But there's no one comes in even to inhale. Right you are, so would you like a drop of ale? Mind you, I can hardly blame them. These are probably the worst pies in London. If you dare to take a bite. Is that just disgusting? You have to concede it. It's nothing but frosting. You drink this, you'll need it. The worst pies in London. Times is hard. Times is hard.
Trust me, dearie. It's gonna take a lot more than ale to wash that taste out.
And with that incredibly smooth transition, it's time for the reveal.
You have no power.
She chose down. Now, would you go left or
And remember, family, should you need
Every now and again in my life, for no reason at all, I need you.
you do? Well, why didn't you say so?
He is done. Look at him, he's so cute. Well, that was quite an experience. Oh God! It's funny to think that he's not technically done. Like if I wanted to, I could go in and add more trim and all the other details that I missed out on, but I just didn't want this video to take, I don't know, another month to make. What with moving and work and everything, so Speaking of, this is actually the last time I will be filming in this cabin. I know many of you think that this is my home. It is not my home. You actually got a glimpse of the place I'm going to be moving into in the Sweeney Todd skit. I'm going to be taking some time off again. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Justine, or as everybody else knows me on the internet as Red. I make art references for artists. I am a wannabe costume designer. I've been using this channel as pretty much a way to document my journey becoming a sewist and a costume designer. I am completely self-taught. I was inspired by other channels that pretty much did the same thing. It gave me the push that I needed to start doing all of this. So yeah, I'm just kind of living out my dream on this channel, and it would not be possible if it wasn't for my patrons, who I need to take a moment and thank. And I also need to figure out how Patreon users do that thing where they show all of the patrons with all the names, because I know you guys aren't like manually going in and typing that up. That would be crazy. So I'm really sorry that the next video won't be coming out yet again 2 to 3 weeks later, but hopefully me taking a little extra time with videos and with projects ends up being worth it. I definitely couldn't get as decent of a reveal with this project as I wanted. Riley was not having it. She was already very upset with the Sweeney Todd skit that she had to do, so I gave her those fish heads after, okay? She received payment in fish heads, I promise you. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If me taking extra time for videos just to make the final product bigger and more lavish and the reveal better, if that's worth it. I just want to hear your 2 cents and what you would like to see in the future. The next project is going to be a little insane. I am yet again probably biting off more than I can chew, at least with half of the project. But the reveal is going to be a little ridiculous. I've been planning the project itself for like a year, but I've been planning the reveal for like 2 months now, and I'm really excited. Really excited. Sorry. I love you so very much. Thank you for being here. It means everything to me. I couldn't be doing this without you. I couldn't. I don't make money on YouTube. I make it so my videos aren't monetizable because I add music in that makes it not monetizable. I make everything through Patreon, and I appreciate you, but you being here is the only reason I'm still here. The only reason I can do anything is because you're watching this video, and I thank you. I appreciate you. So until next time, remember, always do the thing and stay inspired. I will see you in the next video. Wish me luck with moving. Goodbye. Mwah.